So it's in conservation with. My name is David Lindo. I'm also known as the urban birder. And yeah, you joined us in the fourth series for those people watching in the future. This is the fourth series of In Conservation with. Tonight, I have a very, or this afternoon, or this morning, whenever, I have a very special guest. Her name is Khwankhao Sinhaseni, and I've been practicing that for the best part of 10 minutes. And have I got it right? One how?
Almost there, but it's perfect anyway.
Okay. Just to let you know, by the way, guys, this In Conservation with is sponsored by CJ Wildlife as well as Leica Sport Optics. So thank you. So how are you and where are you?
Right. I feel really great today, and it's my great pleasure to join this program and meet other people in the part of the world. And when I say another part of the world, it sounds can guess like I'm look so Asian. I'm from Thailand in Southeast Asia. That's mean now for us, this is a kind of like really after midnight. But I'm so excited to meet everyone here and share my experience with you guys.
Well, thank you. And I appreciate actually that it's 2 o'clock in the morning for you. I mean, you told me earlier that you had a little sleep beforehand. You look very fresh, by the way. You look like you've been up all day.
Because I slept all day. No, I'm joking. I'm like an owl. I love to be really active at night.
Okay, fair enough. And by the way, I did mention it earlier, but I'll mention it again. Do you like my Far Eastern curly here?
That's super cute. I really love it.
Good.
And exactly like today is like a wetland day. This is really remind me about everything about the bird and their habitat as well. That is lovely that you put something like that on your background. That's lovely.
I just wanted to make you feel relaxed and at home. Um, your background isn't birding though, because you told me that you were in forestry. But can you actually give us a quick rundown of who you are and what you are to us? Because I don't know you, we haven't met before. I'm sure we're going to meet those in one day. But tell us about yourself.
All right, thank you so much. Like, anyway, as you mentioned, my name is Khwankhao, right? But mostly Thai people, we have a nickname, and normally it's easy to call me in that way. Just call me Kimim, and I hope like it's gonna be easy for everyone that try to call me in that name. And one thing that I want to share more, like now I work at the Bird Conservation Society of Thailand. And in the same way, I'm also a PhD student at Griffith University in Australia. But my background am more about forest ecology and on restoration. Why something attract me to the bird community? Because like once a very famous bird, and I think it's one of the dream birds for many people is Gurney Pitta. And once for a while, I have been work with BCSC on the Gurney Pitta habitat restoration. So that's why it's made me know more about the bird people. And one of my first project, I can say I'm not really like a crazy or try to explore the new bird, but I'm a person who really keen to know more about the function of the bird because my first project, like my research project is about the seed disperser. And the bird is the key of the animal that to distribute the seed and a kind of the forest planter. That's why I'm fascinated on the bird.
Okay. Gurney's pitta. Now, that's a species I've never seen before. And for those who don't know what a pitta is, they are forest dwelling birds that are predominantly found in Asia.
That's right, especially in Southeast Asia.
Yeah, long legged. I've only ever seen one species actually, but not Gurney's, obviously. Well, obviously, but I haven't seen one. Long legged, sort of weird
Very
looking.
colorful.
Yeah, very beautiful birds.
Yeah.
Gurney's pitta, is that the one that's hasn't been seen for a while? I can't remember which one it is. There's one that
It's this one, like even in Thailand for the last record is too long anyway. We still believe like it still exists in Myanmar, but for in Thailand, I think we not really have any record since long time ago. But anyway, first we try to explore about like the population and the habitat use, like when I joined that program, I think it's more than 10 years ago. Anyway, but that is made me really impressed about this bird because like they're very tiny, beautiful. But anyway, sometimes their habitat is also in the forest and also in agroforestry as well.
Yeah. And there's another species that when I think of Thailand, I mean, I remember I'm quite interested in birds that haven't been seen for some time. And there's one that springs to mind, which is called, I think it's the white-eyed martin.
That's right. That's right. White-eyed martin.
And it was found near, or discovered, I think, or seen recently. Well, by that, I'm talking about maybe in the 70s, next to a reservoir somewhere by some workers. And I think they caught one in a reed bed. But since then, I don't think there's been any seen. I don't know if you know about them at all.
Yeah, it's like this one is a long record anyway. Like you already mentioned, people still keep talking about that, especially the place that we can find the white-eyed martin is like in the wetland area. And so it's more about like in the central part of Thailand. But anyway, we really hope to see that. But anyway, since the last 10 years, no one really seen that anymore. And also this one is a kind of the endemic species for us as well. Even in Thai name, we use the princess name for that because try to recognize how important and how endemic of this species that we call this one Nok Chao Phai Ying Sirinthorn. Like this is the name of the princess.
Wow. Well, I've had experiences in Thailand, and by that I'm talking about birding experiences, folks. And I'm looking forward to let's have a look at your work actually, because I want to tell you a story about my visit to Paktali. I know you're going to be talking about Paktali, but whilst you're setting that up, let me just say to everyone that today, if you're watching now, is World Wetlands Day, International Wetlands Day. So happy International or World Wetlands Day to you all. And for those watching in the future, think about the 2nd of February. That's the day to think about wetlands. And what we're talking about really today concerns wetlands, doesn't it?
Right, exactly.
Okay, well, let's have a look at your presentation. And of course, for those watching, put yourself on speaker view so you can see the whole glory of Khwanchao's presentation.
Thank you so much. Anyway, yeah, today we try to focus on the one species is spoonbill sandpiper. But why we have to focus on this species? Because like one way, this one is very charismatic species. And another thing that people refer that is mean about this one we call a kind of like umbrella species. Why we call umbrella species is mean like if we protect this species, it means we can protect another species as well. Because for this kind of the habitat of the spoonbill sandpiper is also the habitat of many migratory shorebirds as well. So once we try to highlight this species, it means like we not only try to protect just small population of spoonbill sandpiper, but it means like we try to protect the habitat for other birds. And also this one will get attention from other people who should be more interested on the bird and also about the habitat and in terms of the nature. Why I try to give this big overview first, because this one quite related about our mission of my organization. Can I say that again? Like I'm from Bird Conservation Society of Thailand, and for my organization, we are BirdLife partner. We are the focal point of Thailand. And the thing that we try to really emphasize about that is like original, the Bird Conservation Society of Thailand is in Bangkok. And we try to spread the awareness on the urban bird and try to connect people, try to care more and love nature. I can claim for our organization is one of the oldest organization in Thailand that we try to protect the nature and also care about the bird. But anyway, once we grow up from the bird watching society club, we try to grow up more and we try to become to be on the conservation things. Once we turn to do the conservation, that means we need more data. We want more scientific data that is going to help us to protect the bird and also in their habitat. That's why we try to do more systematic data collection. But anyway, as we turn from the bird watching club to the scientific data collection community, is also is a kind of the big change for us too. And the second thing that we also try to reach out and also try to do all the time is like how to expand the idea of the bird and the nature to general people. That's why we have many outreach programs. And also one way that we try to connect people is like we promote the member programs to other people, because sometimes like we want some of the community who try to continue work with us in long term. That's why membership program is of the one key that we really try to achieve with. Moreover, we're not really thinking like we just work just with ordinary people. We also try to find others. We need more partners. That's why we work with business, with the government. That's why we try to link more with the people. And the last, the thing that we try to focus is like we should be a kind of the non-profit organization in Thailand that address and raise up the point of the bird and also the habitat that very important for Thailand and the Southeast Asia. That's why this is a kind of the key strategy for our organization try to do. Now I try to be specific more. Once we talk about the bird, they have a plenty of bird in Thailand because in Thailand is very rich of different ecosystem. Some it can be forest, some it can be the wetland, and also we have a lovely coastal line. But the one thing that we want to focus today, and this is one of the programs that we work on, is about migratory bird. And for this, we are be the part of East Asian Australian Flyway. In the world, they have about totally 9 flyway. When I talk about the flyway, it means it's the place that birds move around. But in East Asian Australian Flyway, is a kind of the one of the largest flyway in the world. Why I say it's the largest? Because it's linked up from Russia to China, Southeast Asia, down to Australia. Because this is a kind of the way that birds use around. In general, people estimate that like it's about 50 million water birds use this flyway. But once we focus on the species, it's about 550 migratory birds that moving around on this flyway. And Southeast Asia are very important in terms of wintering ground during in the cold weather from Russia and China. So that's why in Southeast Asia, very important, especially during in the winter season, because I think everyone know like when Thai people say this is winter, very freezing. It's not that cold at all. And this is the same as the bird. For the birds, when compared to winter in Russia and Asia, here is quite a safe place and full of the food. I will explain more later. But anyway, once I mentioned that it's like, okay, south in this flyway is very huge. But how important of Thailand? In Thailand, we are a kind of the home of many threatened bird species. One thing that I want to highlight today is about the spoonbill sandpiper. And spoonbill sandpiper, every year we found like up to 4 to 8 individual spoonbill sandpiper. When I say 4 to 8, sounds very small, right? But the population in the world is less than 200. I will go to more detail later. And another species is also very on the very charismatic species as well at the moment is spot green shank or Northman green shank. This one is also endangered species. In the world, the population is estimated is about like 1,500 spot green shank in the world. But we found that in Thailand is about 356. That means at least about 30% of the spot green shank is in Thailand. This is in one season. Moreover, we still have many beautiful birds like great north, cruel, or even like Chinese egret that very easy to find. But anyway, even we have a beautiful story, but we still worry about something as well. Because in this flyway, I can just say that rate of the threatened species is very high. So that's why I can show this one. At least 7 critical endangered species is on this flyway. And more thing is like the livelihood of the people around this region also rely on the nature. And also some of the people still have that lifestyle that they use the wildlife as the protein as well. So before I go to the bad story, let's get back a bit and get to know more about the spoonbill sandpiper. Why today I want to talk about this one? As I mentioned before, like in the global population, it's about 200. But in Thailand, we always found that 8 to 10. And BCST take our role that start monitoring since 1995. And this is a kind of the record along flyway. This dot is a places that we can get, and we got the record about the spoonbill sandpiper. From the breeding ground is from Russia that you can see around here. But for the wintering ground is also about 5 countries in the row that the spoonbill sandpiper will migrate from the Russia and find a nice and warm place to stay during winter, like some part of the south of China, in Bangladesh, Myanmar, Vietnam, and also in Thailand, that you can see the record from this. Moreover, the thing that we take a role include about with this flyway. We know like if we want to monitor the thing, we cannot just do only by single way in our countries. We have more friends. We need more other data sharing from different countries. That's why we also join the Spoonbill Sandpiper Task Force. And this is very important, the key point, because people keep record the data in different countries. And also sometimes we realize this is from the last updating, like we find some spoonbill in the place that never been recorded before. But anyway, one we want to monitor about the bird that can be moving around. In one way that people try to do is we try to put a satellite and put the flag. I'm not really sure like maybe you have ever heard about that before, but I'm sure like some of you heard about the flagging bird. Because in terms of the flagging bird, we can estimate how far that bird traveled. And also that bird with the flag will have a number on it. And also the different flag color is indicated like where is that flag from. For example, some color is from Russia, some color is from China, or even some color is also from Thailand. For Thailand, normally we use the color is like green and black. So that's why sometimes make the fascinated thing on the work, apart from just the survey, it's like we can observe the bird, where they are from. But anyway, just the flagging is not that enough data. That's why the satellite is also very important. So that's why now they have more information from the satellite on the spoonbill sandpiper, and we can know like which habitat that they go, and also which part of the world that they have been explored. And with this, it also help us to share more data. And we know like in the end, the population of the spoonbill sandpiper is still keep decreasing. One of the model prediction, like recently from the Spoonbill Sandpiper Task Force meeting, we found like it's about 8% of the population of the Spoonbill Sandpiper keep decrease every year. So apart from the survey, we still try to form the group and find the action plan and policy, how we can solve this problem. And this is a kind of the bigger view in terms of the partnership between the country, what we try to do. We also send some our researcher to join like in Myanmar recently. And also they also have some researcher from China also join us in Thailand to do some capacity building and help the team to know how to survey the spoonbill sandpiper and also help us to estimate the population. Now let's talk about that. Because like I mentioned, some of the spoonbill sandpiper, the population is also decreased. And how about other migratory birds? We identify like a key few things that is a threatened factors to make the population of many shorebirds is decreased. One thing is about illegal hunting. I can say this is quite happen surrounding in Southeast Asia. But because in terms of the community or the villager, they not really know this is like an endangered species. They not really know this is a critical endangered species. But for them, this is just a bird. That's why in terms of the action of the education and the outreach is still very important. And the second one, because now they easy to access to a kind of the equipment. For example, they use the mist net, and the mist net is one of the things that sometimes they want to trap the bird, or sometimes they want to just protect their crops. But anyway, it's also happen to trap some bird and leads to reduce some population of some of shorebird. Moreover, mostly of the migratory shorebird, they use the coastal area, and that is a kind of the wetland area. In different governments, they also have their own plan to develop the thing along the coastal line. Sometimes they're rarely thinking about the habitat of the migratory shorebird. So that's why this is become a huge problem as well. For example, they want to do some of the construction along the way of the coastal line, the wind farm, and also want to change the area to be another facility things. That's why sometimes this is also one of the big problems that we lost the habitat of many shorebirds. All right, let's talk about Thailand. Now I try to give the big overview, what is the threatened point, and also what we try to do, I mean, along the countries. But what really Thai people try to do. First, we also have like a kind of monitoring system. And you can see this lovely guy, Mr. Dang and Mr. Ti. He is a local community, but he really keen to study and learn about the bird. And now both of them become the expert on the shorebird monitoring, especially in Southeast Asia. Both of them not really study ornithology or ecology. One of the good story for both of them is like this bird is inspired them because they live close to their habitat and they realize like how beautiful of them, and now they become very famous and also become very good guide to lead the people to see the shorebird. Every time if you want to come to Thailand and you want to see spoonbill, it's easy that to help Ti, that get the help from Ti and Dan to find the spoonbill for you. And so the thing that I want to say is because Ti he from Khwankhao and Dan he from Pak Thale, and those key area is very important for the spoonbill sandpiper, especially like the one with the flag 05. And this girl, I can say because it's female, she have been flagged from Russia. That means she fly over than 7,500 kilometers from Russia to Thailand. Spoonbill sandpiper, very tiny. But the thing that is really proof like they keep travel to Thailand mostly in the same places. And also we find more other flag bird on the side. That's why I mentioned before, in different color of the flag is indicated like where they are from. But something is happened along the way. This data that I show you, this is quite old data on 2000 each, like 2015 to 2018. But the thing is change is on 2020, we not really find 05 anymore. She disappeared. And this year, we also cannot find her anymore too. But the one that we always find him regularly is 07. And the place that they always stop is in Pak Thale, in this one. Why I want to emphasize that is like, even since in the past up to now, we can find spoonbill sandpiper scattering around, especially in inner Gao of Thailand. We call this part is inner Gao of Thailand. But the most place that we can find the spoonbill sandpiper is in Pak Thale. So that's why this is come up for us. If we want to identify some key place to protect spoonbill sandpiper, we should start from the place that we found the most population in Thailand. All right, now welcome to Pak Thale. So as I mentioned, Pak Thale is a key place that we found a lot of the spoonbill sandpiper, and this is a way that we kick off of this project. Because Pak Thale, after the long-term monitoring, we know like they have a plenty of birds, and also we find out that this is part become very important in terms of the flyway networking site. Even this one is not be in the part of the Ramsar. Ramsar is meant for the wetland recognition, but this part have been identified as a very important site for the bird. Anyway, once I mentioned about the Pak Thale, this place look a bit different than people thought. Why I say it's different? Because sometimes when we think about the bird habitat, we're thinking about the mud flat along the coastal line. But in Pak Thale, it's different. Why I say different? Because the place that the bird use is in the salt farm, in different pond. That's why I highlight this kind of people that they try to produce the salt by use the way of the direct ocean water up to different pond. Let me explain to you a bit more later. So my point is, because here they have some traditional salt practice. That's why this is quite friendly for many birds to use the farm. And also for them, when they practice the farm, they're not really thinking this is going to be a place that's good for the bird. But as our data, we realize that Pak Thale is very important. So the thing that we try to make a move is because in the salt farm, it's owned by the private people. That means it's very easy in one way, they're gonna sell all of this land or they transfer this land to something else. In this case, that's why it's come up to our vision of BCST. We know like if we want to protect this land, we have to purchase the land, and we got the support from the Rainforest Trust and also public crowdfundings, both in Thailand and also from overseas. In the end, we can purchase the land about 8 hectares in Pak Thale. And this happened since like 2018, 2019, and also 2020, we can make this thing happen. But before that, let me try to explain to you more first, like how is the salt farm look like and what is the way that people try to manage the area. First, in the salt pan, or in general, we call this one is salt pan. We direct the sea water to different ponds. We use the solar energy to dry that, and then we can get the salt. But because of this water level is not that high, it can be a good place for the foraging site and roosting site for many shorebirds. So from this information, we know like, okay, if we want to maintain the salt farm, we have to manage it as well. This is come up about the habitat management because we purchased that. But anyway, we still have to maintain the system. In the way that we try to maintain the system is, first, we try to control about the sea water to coming in different ponds. We know like if we try to direct water in different ponds, in different level, we can maintain more population of the bird and more diverse than we try to keep just only one level of the water depth. So in this way, in different ponds, it's a kind of variety of the depth of the water. And this kind of the stuff is look similar with the mud flat. It's close to the coastal line. But even we try to do that, life is not that easy. Even we purchase the land that we purchase is look like a knife that you can see from this map in the yellow line. But now we face on the coastal erosion. We purchased the land and we lost it about 30% because of coastal erosion and also about like El Nino. So that's why now the thing that we try to do is like we try to protect the lands by use bamboo fence. And this one we have to work with the community and also with the government. As I mentioned, first, we try to manage the land. The second thing that we try to do more is like have the regular survey to understand about the bird and their habitat preference. And now we have some set of the data that we know more like what kind of the bird use which pond and what is the factor of this pond. But anyway, we just start since like 2020. We still continue to do the data collection. I cannot say like the data that we have now is perfect. We still have to collect the data and also we try to manage that properly by the data that we have now. But at least the thing that I can share with you is like in Park Tale, even this land is not that huge. It's a home for the birds more than like 10,000 birds and more than 150 birds. This is also include residential one and also migratory one as well. All right, we know we have to manage the land. We do the data collection in terms of the bird monitoring. The thing that we try to do more is like, can be a dream place for many birders around the world. Because why? It's become the dream place. It's super easy to find the spoonbill. And this is just far from Bangkok. It's only like 2 or 3 hour drive. And you no need to walk. You just park next to the salt farm and it's easy to find many lovely birds. So we decide to build the bird hide and this is how it looks like. Moreover, the thing that we try to do is like, we try to connect and work with the community. We want community to feel like this is also be the part of their things. So one thing that we try to do is like the construction, we try to use it very simple, much that we can, and also get the idea with the community, how it should look like. Moreover, maybe some people not really know more about the bird. They can learn something by we put some sign in the bird hide. But anyway, the land is still very huge. We start to develop one place in the time. Now we have the bird hide. Now we have the small hut to welcome people. And now we know how to manage the water. And now we also know how to monitor the bird. But the key factors to make the habitat conservation success is we need more friends. That's why we have to work with the communities. And this is lovely people that we always work with them, both with the man and with the woman. The thing that we try to do is we can just purchase some land, only 8 hectares. But doesn't mean bird use only that just 8 hectares. The bird still use other different pond, but not really owned by us. One thing that we really concern is the price of the soil is always up and down. The thing that we hope is going to help people to improve their own livelihood if they can produce some high value products by the salt. That means they can continue produce the salt. Once they continue produce the salt, they also keep the habitat for the bird. One thing that we try to do is like spoony salt spa. But anyway, this is just kick-off thing that we try to do. But the thing that I want to share with you is normally if they want to sell 1 kilogram of the salt in the site, it's less than 10 baht. It means like less than like 0.4 pounds sterling. But if we want to transform it to be a spa or the luxury products, they can earn more money, more than 10 times. So that's why we think this can be another key thing that we can work with the community and make them realize how important of the thing that they're doing. But anyway, we also identify another thing too, like some of the community member really interested about the spoonbill sandpiper as well. Now they know many people want to visit their land because of the bird. There are many birders around the world want to visit this place. That's why now they want to protect this bird as well. Even like some shop around there, like a coffee shop, they also use the spoonbill sandpiper to be a logo. And now we also have a group of the Patale Conservation Club. They try to set up the bird center, and also they have their own local guide that they can lead the people. That is only one function that we try to do. We also try to work with the government as well. As you see, like many places that we work with is also be a part with the government. So that's why we work closely with the Department of Marine and Coastal Resources, or in short, we call DMCR. And the thing that we try to do is we try to form formal community to manage about the shorebird habitat. Let me share you another success with that. Once we try to form that, it means like the area is very huge, right? We can purchase just some land. The government decide to make the MOU with us in the blue here to expand the area of the shorebird habitat protection. So that's why we can purchase some part, and we also have another part that the government want to work with us. And I can say this is like one of the key success that we try to expand the idea of the shorebird conservation. Moreover, another part of the potential group is about the youth and the young people. We also work with the university and the school. We try to promote more about the Patale, and mostly this one is the on-site university and the school. It means for themselves, they will know how important of their land, how important of this land up to the global. And this is the way that we try to make a move with different stakeholders. Anyway, we cannot just work with the people on site. Another thing that we try to do more in the bigger view of Thailand, we also do more program on the citizen science and the outreach program. Like we have a few social media platform for the people to report about the bird. One we call Thai Bird Report, and another one, this one is about in the part of the East Asian Australian Flyway. Because sometimes we have people to do the data and collect the data, I mean, in terms of the monitoring. But anyway, we still need the power of the public to share something. So that's why this part of the social media is can make people share the data, what they find, and also this is more impactful in terms of the publicity that they know more about the bird once people share the data and twist something as well. Moreover, we not really work only in Patale. We also try to work with other places that we also found spoonbill. For example, in Praset or in Chachoengsao. So we try to make this sign and for them to know more about the bird, and also like if any birder want to observe the bird, they can know like how they can behave, because mostly in Thailand that we found spoonbill is in non-protected area by government. It means it's by the public owned area. So more than that, it's like now people, when they want to digest something, they want to find something really interesting, like you guys join our program today. So for us, we found this potential. That's why we have a kind of the camp that we name it like Young Shorebird Ambassador. This one, we try to bring the people around the age of 15 up to 25 to learn how to communicate it, especially about the bird and their habitat. And we use Patale as our key area to be the center and let the new people, young people, to produce the thing like a video, take more photo, or even they write on some of their own article. Anyway, for our work, it cannot just stop like once we find Patale. We still try to keep doing that. And we hope like in Thailand, we can push Patale and also some other soil plant around that region to be in under the initiative that we call 30 by 30. Let me explain about that a bit. 30 by 30 is a new initiative from the COP15. It means like by 2030, we want to protect the land about 30%, both in terrestrial and also in marine. So we realize that mostly government protected area is hard to expand anymore. That's why we want to find more non-government area to be protected. And Park Tale is can be the one of that. And I can say not many places in Southeast Asia are protected area that managed by non-government. But this is the opportunity of the new movement that people in Southeast Asia can be managed the area, like for example in Park Tale, because I'm sure like in UK you have many places that from RSPB that purchased by RSPB and managed it by the non-government area. All right, I think I try to get the bigger view of everything about the spoonbill sandpiper, about Park Tale, and of course because for us our philosophy is like we want to find a way how the people and the bird can live together. So if you want to join more, maybe you can visit our website, or if you want to support us, you can be our member. And moreover, I would like to welcome everyone to visit Park Tale once in your life, because this is one of the easy place that you can find spoonbill sandpiper. Thank you so much.
Well, Khwankhao, that was great. And it's really nice to see that people are being involved, you know, local people. Your programs involve local people as well as local government, and national government is exemplary. So it's really, really good. And Park Tale, as you said, is a legendary place. I mean, I've had the pleasure of visiting before you had the hides. And I remember, actually, this was back in maybe 2009 or something. I remember going to Bangkok with my then girlfriend, and she went to Hua Hin.
Hua Hin, yes.
Yeah, you know, some holiday resort, and I didn't exactly like being there. But I remember the first morning of our stay, she woke up and she had tonsillitis, and she was bedridden. I said, "Don't worry, darling. I will go out birding and I'll be back in a couple of hours." And I got in a taxi and I went straight to Park Tale. So that's 2.5 hours drive, thinking I'll quickly see the spoonbill sandpiper and then I'll rush back and she'll never know that I've been gone. So I got to Park Tale, and you're right, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of shorebirds there and other species. It was amazing. And I was at the salt pans, I was scanning. I didn't have a telescope, so I had my binoculars, and I couldn't find this bird anywhere. I mean, you said it was easy. I mean, and then I went to a pool, and there was maybe 10 waders at the top end of this salt pan, and just to explain, it was on an embankment, so they were kind of you know, above the actual path, if you know what I'm saying. So they're raised above the path. So what I did was I thought, I don't want to disturb these birds. So I got on my hands and knees and I crawled all the way to get nearer to these waders. And as I was crawling, the ground had like glass in it, and my knees were bleeding. And I was crawling very quietly, trying to get, I didn't want to disturb the birds. And then I looked to my right along the path, and I saw a pair of legs walking past me.
Oh my God.
A bird just walking straight past me, looking at me, thinking, "What are you doing on your..." And then I realized that the birds weren't afraid of us, and I just had my knees cut to shreds. And I did not see the spoonbill sandpiper. In fact,
that means you have to come back.
I went back the next morning. The next morning I went back, and I did not see it again. And then on the third morning, I suggested to my girlfriend, because I got through to a birder in Bangkok by the name of Phil Round. And I said to him, I asked him, I said, "Is it possible for you to meet me and show me the spoonbill sandpiper?" And he said, "Yeah, no problem." So I convinced my girlfriend that we will go to Paktali. We'll be there for 20 minutes with this guy. We will see the spoonbill sandpiper, and then we'll go to Bangkok because you're sick. And she kind of said, okay.
Should I believe that?
And she said, oh, okay. So we went to Paktali. I met with Phil, and we did see the spoonbill sandpiper in 15, 20 minutes. But then I found a black-headed gull, which was particularly scarce, and Phil was quite excited. And I found a black-faced spoonbill, and then all of a sudden, Phil thought I was his best friend. And for the next 12 hours, we were birding. And
Wow.
I was in such trouble with my girlfriend that I had to deny all interest in birds for at least 4 days. She wouldn't talk to me. She was so angry with me, but at least I managed to see the spoonbill sandpiper. So I was very happy.
Oh, finally, you're so lucky. Phil is very great, like Philip Rouse, like he know the area very well. And also like he tried to support BCST as well, like a kind of the advisor for us. And I can say I totally agree with you. It's not that hard to find if you are in the right spot in Berkeley. Yeah.
I guess that goes for anything, I suppose. Nothing's hard to find until you can, if you find it, it's not hard to find. But the thing is, as I was going back to saying earlier, the fact that, you know, you engage with all these people is fantastic. But the bigger picture, which you touched on in your talk, when I say the bigger picture, I mean, it is a part of the picture, is this illegal hunting side. Now, if you can convince the locals to be involved and to get, you know, to really get with the spirit of conservation, and if you can get the local government, why can't, what's the story with these people that are doing illegal hunting? Why are they doing it? And is there any chance that we can affect them in some way that they won't do so much hunting or stop it altogether? How can we do this?
Yeah, let me share with you like this, because from some of the publication recently, they also identify like around Southeast Asia, people still rely on the wild protein. It means like from the natural, like by hunting or try to collect something from the nature, right? But anyway, in Thailand, this is become less issue, but doesn't mean it's not exist. This is one thing. And the second thing is like, normally in terms of the law protect on the bird because this is a kind of the threatened species. But the law is not protect on the area. That's why some people, they misunderstand about that. They thought like, oh, this is private land. It means I can trap something. But in terms of the law, it's not like that. That's why I mean some community, they still not really understand that anyway. And the third is like, they try to hunt that for food, right? But now if their living lifestyle is getting better, it's gonna be let them less rely on this kind of the stuff. Now that's why we have to work with them. That's why we decide to work with the community leader. And now when the community leader, they realize that they become like a dog watch for us. Recently, I can say, community leader saw some people put the net and they decide to communicate with them, because sometimes community communicate to the community. It's better than like we try to use the law. Without that, they feel very offended, right? So in this way, I think it's quite work well. It's slow, but I mean, it's very more effective than like we try to use the law to force them. And another thing, like not only us, also have many organizations try to promote like how important of the salt farm and the coastal line on the shorebird habitat, and how this kind of habitat can contribute something back to them in terms of like tourism, in terms of like social based enterprise, something like that. So we make a move one step at a time. And I can feel like this is slowly changing. Before it's easy to find people try to hunt the bird, but now it's become less and less.
Yeah, you know, I think your approach for me is the best way, which is to sit down with people and try to explain, you know, what you're doing. You know, you're killing these birds, but the bigger picture is, you know, there's X amount percentage of these birds traveling through our area and they represent X amount percentage of the world population. It gives people a backstory. And I think that really is the best way of doing it. But sometimes it's difficult to do that because, for example, I think next week or week after next, I've got someone from Malta coming to talk about, from BirdLife Malta, to talk about the hunting there. And there it's very much us versus them. It's very much people getting there and feeling angry and confronting hunters. I'm going there for the first time in my life next month. And I know that I'm going to be very emotional. I'm going to be upset, but I don't know how I'm going to react because I'm sitting here saying your way is the right way. But then I could go there and get very angry and confront people and smash traps and stuff and get myself in trouble. I don't know how I'm going to react to this. Do you think it's a cultural thing? Do you think, because for example, in Malta, it's us versus them, and the hunters there quite rightly point to people from England and say, you're telling us not to hunt, but then you hunt and kill, millions of pheasants every year, and you kill, maybe they don't say this, but it's true, they kill, hen harriers, which are very, very, very depleted in number in England. Whereas in other places, like in Georgia, in Batumi, where they do the massive raptor counts there, in the beginning, people used to hunt the raptors. And then when the ornithologists came, they sat with the hunters, had drinks, had dinner, made friends with the hunters, and tried to explain the story. And the hunters, some out of embarrassment, others realizing actually this is the wrong thing to do, they kind of stop doing it, and it becomes much less. I mean, it still goes on, but it's much less. Do you think it's a cultural thing? Do you think the people in Thailand are essentially different to the people in Malta, or is it your approach? You talking to people in a nice way that takes longer, as you say, but do you think that's the better way of doing it?
I think people is quite different, right? I can say like in general, Thai people is a bit like a kind of they don't want to make people feel like they are strange. You know what I mean? Like Thai people prefer to follow something in general because they don't want to be too unique or something like that. Of course, I'm sure like in the part of their culture, it's like me. In some people, of course, they want to hunt for eating. But now when they feel like the world is changed, if they can afford more things, they want to do that too. So my point is like the way instead of to just sit and talk to them, sometimes we have to find alternative way what they can do. Right. And also I can say like in general for Thai people, we're not that aggressive. They don't want to fight back when you say something. But maybe they will try to sneaky to do something. But something will slowly change. When I say slowly change, it's like, for example, new generation, no one want to eat bird anymore.
Yeah.
Like young people, like a teenager, because they feel like they have more things that they should eat, like chicken or maybe beef or pork, right? But so when the trend is changed, people have new perception. And I think this is the same way. Let me share with you. Like before, Thai people, we also eat shark fin. And now we have a campaign, no celebrate, no shark fin, something. No, sorry, no shark fin for celebration anymore, something like that. So one is become the trend. People change it. That's why for us, we have to work with the new generation. Of course, I'm sure like some old generation still want to do that, but it's become less and less. And also they have to put more effort to do that. So, but I can say in Malta, I probably think it's different. I'm sure like some people in Thailand maybe have that perception, like feel, oh, European people, they're still hunting. But anyway, rarely people will speak out in the way. But in terms of the behavior, I think they slowly change once they find alternative thing to do instead.
Okay, very interesting. I think, I think we can all learn from this. I mean, we need to look at how other cultures deal with this whole problem of hunting, and habitat degradation as well, which is just, I don't know, it's just rampant in this world at the moment. Anyway, let's get on to something slightly nicer. We've nearly run into an hour, so I just want to quickly ask you, if you could be anywhere on this planet right this very moment, where would you be?
If I say that, not really, I try to offend that, okay? I really want to be in Russia. You know why? Because it's a breeding ground of the spoonbill sandpiper. And anyway, I'm just work in the field of the bird community for 2 years. And I really want to see the original places. And also that place, they have a lot of research ongoing, even about the genetics, about the bird, about bird tracking. So that's why that is become one of my dream place if I can go.
And are you allowed to travel to Russia, given what's going
In
on?
fact, I can, but but it's gonna be very complicated anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure. Now, you've just won a vast amount of money. You've given your family and friends money, and you looked after yourself. You're all good. You got $1 million to spend on
Ooh.
conservation in Thailand. What would you do?
I want, okay, anyway, my dream, I feel like in Thailand, we need more non-government protected area. As you know, we can just purchase only 8 hectares, and those 8 hectares is very tiny compared with all the bird habitat. If I have those money, I want to purchase more land, but not only to purchase the land, I want to use this money for operating system in those land. Because for us, we just start, we not really have like a good system, and we just a small NGO. We not really have much money in terms of the operation. So if I have that money, I want to buy more land. I try to get all the places that people say like Spoonbill is land on. And then I try to set up, it's become like all nature reserve with the lovely cafe. And then I can make money and then can sustain that area. And that is the thing that I would like to do. And the last, I want to use that money to train more local people to be volunteer with us, because in the term of volunteer for Thai people, it's quite new. This is about a culture different as well. I feel like in UK, to be a volunteer is very common sense. But for us, this is new thing. That means I want more money to make a move to say like volunteer is cool thing in Thailand. Yeah.
That's a fantastic answer. So Zoomers, just to let you know, coming up on Thursday, the 9th of February, we have Juan Benito, who's talking about the birds of the Mesozoic period. He's put together a guide of the birds that we'll never ever see ever, but it's really interesting. So we'll be talking to him. On Thursday, the 16th of February, I got my good friend Mike Dilger, who is a TV presenter, wildlife presenter. He's written a book about his quest to see and find 1,000 plants in 365 days.
Oh my God.
Wednesday, the 22nd of February, as I said earlier, we've got BirdLife Malta on talking about the hunting and trying to get people to volunteer to come and sort of try and prevent it. And we've got a lot more people coming up in March. So yeah, a lot of stuff to look forward to in conservation with. Tonight it's been really great with Khwankhao Sinhaseni, or Kim Min for short. Thank you very much for, I mean, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning now for you. So thank you so much for staying up and giving us such an interesting insight into the conservation world in Thailand, as well as the plight of the spoonbill sandpiper. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And I'm so glad to be with everyone today. And I hope like I can spot something from another part of the world. And I'm sure like this is a kind of the knowledge sharing that I can share with you guys. I hope like the small thing that our organization try to do can be more impactful in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Zoomers, thank you very much as ever for attending, including some of the new people. I hope to see you again at some point. But until we do meet again, keep looking up.